Alright, what's going on, guys? The craze and hype over Elden Ring DLC is at its peak right now, with a lot of people having finished their journey in the Land of Shadow, only to immediately do it again, just because this DLC was that good. But even on consecutive playthroughs, there's so much content here that there is bound to be something that you missed, such as, did you know that the roots that are on the Erdtree Great Shield will glow gold if you bring the shield to the minor Erdtree in Shaman Village? You can see the glow come and go in real time if you stand next to the tree or walk away from it. Now this is just thanks to the unique lighting they have around this tree, and you can replicate it with other weapons and shields with complex models, but it makes for a pretty cool place to take some pictures. But you know how these videos work. Today, if I show you something that you didn't already know, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you're new around here, but let's go ahead and get into it. One of, if not the best new levels in Elden Ring DLC is Midras Manse, a level that tells you the story of the lord of this manor in a way that evokes the feelings of horror. As we explore the manor, we hear how the great sage Midra became tempted by the power of the Frenzied Flame and sought to become a lord of Frenzied Flame. However, he lacked the strength to do so. But as we push him into his final moments, the power awakens. It's a very cool bit of lore, but what makes it even cooler are the secrets of the manse. The path to Midra is hidden behind a large portrait, one still depicting the Lord with a bit of honor. But when you walk through the room hidden by this painting, you'll find these big piles covered in tarps, clearly something that was meant to be hidden and discarded from the rest of the manor. But if you use a bit of camera magic, we can find out what's underneath. Beneath the tarps are fingers, big finger stones along with eggs, the same kind we can find in the finger ruins in the Land of Shadow. And so this raises a bit of a question. Why did Midra have these fingers in his manor? Was it simply as a collection for decoration's sake, or was he using them for their arcane magic? Or in his efforts to become a Lord of Frenzied Flame, did he know about the three fingers, potentially attempting to create his own? I love this detail. I think it's so cool because it's something that the vast majority of people are going to walk directly past and never even ask the question of what's under these tarps. But now that we know, it allows for some very fun speculation. Elden Ring's DLC can be really unforgiving, and the Land of Shadow as a place is full of danger around every corner. But another place that is equally risky to navigate is the internet as a whole, which is why you need the help of today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN specializes in protecting your data on the internet, but even when you're gaming, there are a lot of added benefits a VPN can have for you, such as protecting you from hacks online and DDoS attacks, to even reducing your ping so you lag less. By utilizing many of their foreign servers, you can access content that's only limited to specific areas, such as being able to watch Lord of the Rings on Netflix, which isn't normally available on the US Netflix, but by accessing a server with a single click of one of the countries it is found in and refreshing the page, then you can watch it. So protect yourself online today and check out ExpressVPN and get 3 free months by using my link expressvpn.com/Ziostorm, which you can find in the description or pinned comment. So join me in giving a big thank you to ExpressVPN for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back into it. In the southeast side of the Realm of Shadow, you can find a location called the Suppressing Pillar, a massive tower that reaches far into the sky. Taking the elevator all the way up, you'll be able to get a view of pretty much everything. You'll also find a chest containing an ancient dragon smithing stone, as well as a plaque, which has text on it that says, "The very center of the lands between. All manners of death wash up here only to be suppressed." And this plaque has caused an undertaking by the community to figure out, well, how accurate is that? What happens if you overlay the Land of Shadow on the map of the lands between? Doing a direct overlay gives some pretty interesting results. While there is a lot of overlap, the actual shape of the Realm of Shadow seems to fit pretty well with the central cliffs of the lands between. But this doesn't account for the Suppressing Pillar being the direct center, and there are other context clues that may help us find the right spot. If the map is slightly scaled differently and turned slightly, some things that align are the minor Erdtree in Shaman Village and the actual Erdtree itself, but would also answer a long-standing question we've had in the community about where Lanedel's Divine Bridge was supposed to go to, as when we find it in the game, it's broken and seemingly leading to nowhere. But when we align these maps, we find that this bridge would connect to the Great Bridge found in the ancient ruins of Rao, which in turn leads to Enir Ilim and the Divine Gate. Now again, simply overlaying the maps isn't perfect, but it's more close than it isn't, so the idea here is absolutely accurate. By far my favorite new armor in the game is the Rakshasa set, this extremely cool red knight armor that simply looks awesome in every cutscene. But this armor has a very unique effect. Each piece of it increases your total damage by 2%, and when paired with the Rakshasa Great Katana, you can put out some insane damage numbers. But if you read the description of this armor, it states that in addition to increasing your damage, it also makes you take more damage. And when you actually put the armor on, you'll see in the top of the screen that you have the debuff of Datekar's Woe, which also means that you should be taking a percentage base of more damage per hit. But this is actually a bit of a lie. According to people that have looked into the way this armor works, instead of giving you a percentage base of more damage, where the idea comes from is that the armor weighs more than it should, and the protection that it provides is a bit less than others of its class. So while it weighs as much as heavy armor, it only protects you as much as medium armor. So comparing Rakshasa's armor to Malekith's armor, we can see that both of these pieces weigh exactly the same. Yet Malekith's armor provides more protection in every category. Now it's really not that much at all, but still enough to show where the idea comes from. So the actual damage that you will take wearing this armor compared to others of its weight is pretty much negligible, well worth the 8% damage increase you'll be doing with anything. So don't be afraid to throw on this awesome looking armor that has an actually crazy effect. It is more than worth wearing. But now let's talk about music. As you were playing the DLC, one thing you might have noticed is that several of the boss soundtracks are remixes of music from the base game and reuse many of the same motifs. And here I'll highlight 3 of the coolest ones. Firstly, Midra's theme is a play on the Nomadic Merchants song that they play on their violins. Rellana's theme is a play on Renala's theme. And then Messmer's theme is a twist on Radagon's. So it's very cool how they did all this, especially when the characters with their OSTs line up have very strong lore connections as well. So out of all the tracks in the DLC, which one was your favorite? But now let's talk about the final area of the game, Enir Ilim, the Great Tower as they call it, and there's a lot going on here. When you walk out into the courtyards, you may be blinded by all the beauty, or the numerous enemies trying to kill you. But if you look closely, you may just notice how much of this place is made out of bodies. Looking at the tower itself, many of the bases that aren't connected to the ground have many bodies at the bottom. But what you'll notice as well is that all of the trees here are also made of people, but the ones in the trees all appear to be women. It's very interesting. A distinction arises though when we look at the Divine Gate. No surprise here, it is also made entirely of bodies, and it actually bleeds when you hit it. But what's unique about the Divine Gate itself is that here we'll find it made out of horn scent. We can see by the horns on their heads, while the bodies in the actual city of Enir Ilim do not have horns. We can see this reflected in the lands between with the Nox, and the way bodies are baked into the eternal cities, as well as with Erdtree burial, and how bodies placed among the Erdtree roots physically turn into the tree itself. So it's very ironic how Marika waged war with the Tower folk, completely purging them in fire because of the practices they did, only to employ many of those methods herself in the Golden Order. So perhaps it's just the way the world works there. Godhood relies on decomposition, and the order of the world is built upon the dead. Now I'm going to talk about the final boss, so here's a quick spoiler warning. If you haven't gotten there yet, you may want to click away right now. But here are 2 secrets that will significantly help you in this fight. For the first one, Did you know that you can shut down Radahn's first phase by using a hefty rot pot? After he does his corkscrew attack, just hit him with one of these and he will instantly be afflicted with scarlet rot, and it will last long enough to wipe out his whole first phase. Now you do still have to be careful here. He has quite a bit of attacks that reach the length of half the arena, so you do still have to dodge and know what to expect, but this is a fantastic way to maximize the heals that you want to save for the second phase, since you don't have to worry about constantly dodging all his long combos. Now unfortunately this does not work for the second phase, but again it's a fantastic tool for phase 1, especially given Radahn's lore, and I'm sure we all know what happened there. But when that scarlet rot completely eats him, one item that you absolutely need to have on you is Miquellas' Great Rune. Phase 2 introduces a grab attack, where Miquella will talk to you, placing a mark above your head. Now at first seemingly nothing will happen, but if he grabs you again while you have this mark, your heart will be stolen and you die. But you can use Miquella's own power against him and break the charm with his Great Rune. He tends to have a long pause after the grab, so there's plenty of time to use it and still get out of the way of the follow-up, so there's no reason not to have this in your toolbar. So with both of these, this fight becomes a little bit easier, and these two tips could give you the edge you need to finally beat the boss. And you'll need them, because I'm sure everybody's aware this is probably the hardest boss in FromSoftware history. But for the final one today, let's talk about what happens after you beat that boss. If you did St Trina's questline, then when you return to this location, you'll be able to pick up an item called St Trina's Blossom, a single purple flower that you can wear as a helmet. And that's where it ends. That's all there is to it. There is no further interaction with St Trina beyond this point. However, once upon a time in the files, you would have gotten one final cutscene, and Sekiro Dubi restored this, so take a look.
Thank you.
So which version do you like better? Would you have liked to get that final message from St Trina, or do you prefer for it to end pretty abruptly? Personally, I think from a lore perspective it makes sense for St Trina to die at the same time Miquella does, but I also would have liked to have had a little bit more closure. Either way though, I really enjoyed the St Trina questline, and I'm glad we finally got to get a bit from this mysterious character that we'd always heard about in the lore. But that is going to do it for the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I showed you something that you didn't already know. If I did, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe for more. Once again, a big thank you to ExpressVPN for sponsoring today's video, but with all that, I will catch you in the next one.